See what happens. Nope, you can't come back. Click questions. Oh, go to... There we go. Oh, Randy. See, we have other people on. We didn't even see.
I know you, man.
Wow. What repeats of this?
How long have we been working here?
Hey, Anna.
Hi, who's, oh, Emily, hi.
Oh,
Emily.
Oh, it's Emily. Hey, Emily.
Hello.
There's your phone number. Oh, no, that's
So, yeah, I called in on my phone because every time I do it on the computer, it like, we all use the same account, you know what I mean? And then it gets all wonky. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to call in on my phone.
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. Well, do we want to start with the,
Yeah, do you want me to
sure. All
say
right.
hi real quick?
Diana's going to give some 1-2 on the process here.
Double check attendance while we got it. Woo! Hi, everyone. Sorry, Anna's. You're so much shorter than me. I like cut my head off. So welcome to our web workshop today. We're the Idaho Out of School Network. For those of you who might be joining from Idaho Stars, welcome. Note about Idaho Stars. So since this is a web event, I will be emailing your completion certificate to you, and then you will want to log into your RISE account and put that certificate in documents so that it can be approved and put on your training log. If you've never done that process before, let me know and I can help walk you through it, or you can call Brenda or Callie in the training office and they can walk you through it as well. I'm just going to double check participants real quick. Jillian. Hello, Jillian. And Polaris. So, oh, we do. We have quite a few coming in from Idaho Stars. So that's awesome. And so, sorry, guys, one sec. Double check this before we get out.
Okay. All right.
So that,
Sounds good.
Anna's going to ask probably some questions throughout. You're welcome to either unmute and speak, or you can type in the chat. That is up to you guys. Any other questions? Otherwise, I will turn it over to our director, Anna, with the Idaho Out of School Network, and she's going to talk to you about the national event, Lights On After School. Guys.
All right. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us. In today's webinar, our goal is twofold. So first, I'll give a broad overview of why advocating for your after-school network or after-school program is so crucial in the current policy environment. And second, we'll be going into the basics of planning a successful Lights On after-school event and discuss some strategies to engaging policymakers and maximizing the impact of your celebration. This PowerPoint is, I want to thank the Lights On After School Alliance. All of these resources are found on their website, and it's an amazing resource to have. So this is my email address. Any questions that you have after the webinar today, please feel free to email me. This is our proclamation from last year from the governor, and we do have one from Governor Little this year. So if you want copies of that for your event, I can email that out to everyone. We'll also have it on our website. So Lights On After School is a national celebration. On October 24th, and this can be any day. I realize in the Boise School District, it can be any day that week. That is our parent-teacher conference week, and it's unfortunate it always falls on that same week, but we make do and we shift it and we celebrate before everyone else on the days prior. So we're planning that way, and National totally acknowledges that as a Lights On After School Day as well. So we're joining together to hold the 20th annual Lights On After School event. It's a chance for after school programs to celebrate and showcase exactly what they do, and a chance for after school programs to share with the community and parents and policymakers, and to get some media about our after school programs. They're essential for students and families, and this is our time to really showcase that. So it's an opportunity to highlight the changing faces of what after school really looks like for kids. that it's not just a daycare. It may also have daycare, but we do have special programming that happens for the different ages that we reach and for that after school time. So we know that we're providing engaging, hands-on enrichment opportunities for kids that enhance and build upon the school time learning. And so this is really unique, and it's our time to really highlight that and feature that to the community. Lights On After School allows us to bring attention to the need for more after school programs and for the resources in our community. And it gives us the freedom to create an event that does this in a way that it feels best for our area or our program. So we realize each of your programs will be tailoring it to your unique features and your unique strengths that you have in your program. And traditionally, we partner with 4-H, after school, Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCA, 21st Century, Parks and Rec, and have these events throughout the community. I think we hosted over 50 last year that were registered on the national site, so that's really exciting for Idaho. Lights On After School events generate thousands of newspaper, radio, and TV stories across the country every year, including major media market and targeting congressional districts. Annually, 1 million Americans celebrate, and there's over 8,000 events nationwide. So it's also our opportunity to be part of something even bigger and celebrating together. So why should we host a Lights On event? Kind of went over some of this. But the point of hosting a Lights On event is to build long-term support in our community and for our program and for similar programs in our community and in our state. So how can Lights On help sustain and promote your program? This is probably something to reflect on. If anyone wants to join in the chat and share some experiences they've had with their own Lights On events. Most of you have been doing this for a long time. Some of you are new to it. So it's fun to hear the real stories about some of the successes. This is where relationships with the media and policymakers come in. Lights On is more than just a one-day thing. Through the course of planning your Lights On event, you'll strengthen relationships and build new relationships with partners in your area. So we'll be talking a little more about the planning process, but to make sure that your event is planned with intention and with clear goals for what you want to come out of it. So there are 3 easy steps to planning a successful Lights On event. The first is to register online, and that comes in right here. On the National After School Alliance website, it's quite easy to create an account and register your event online. So by registering, once you've registered your event, you'll get some emails and receive a bunch of free resources that include email planning tips and updates every week until the event, 10 free posters to help you promote your event locally, and raffle and prize giveaways every week among the registered programs for event materials leading up to the Lights On. So your program is eligible for some different raffle prizes once you register from the National After School Alliance. And it will be added to a website for media and for the community to see. And your event is counted in the national total. So registering with the After School Alliance is the only way, if you're holding an event, that you'll be counted nationally and to receive the free resources. So they really encourage us all to register on that event just to show the impact that we're making across the nation. So events can look like many different things. The second step is planning your event. And from my experience last year and getting to attend a few of the events, some examples were having stations. I know Chris at City of Boise has done the stations and STEM activities. I went to Whitney Elementary last year and they had pumpkin painting and snacks. Whatever you have access to locally, we hope that Lights On events don't generate a huge extra cost for you, but that this becomes something that we can use the local resources that we have. So thinking about some exciting things to feature that you might already have access to. Visiting the website to find the After School Alliance event planning kit includes, on this website, it includes a step-by-step information on how to start planning your successful event. And the kit includes sample materials like invitations and activities, graphics and logos to download, so you don't have to create anything new. They have tons of professional materials that you have access to. They're easy to plug into social media or put into your emails. They have media materials that we can edit, so if you want to do a press release, it's fairly quick and not too time intensive. And the network is here to support you if you decide to reach out to media for this event. And I'm here to review anything if you want just a second set of eyes on a press release or some ideas. Engaging the media and policymakers is one of the big goals, at least from the National After School Alliance and here at the network. We know that as we've talked to policymakers, hearing the stories and seeing the real programming is what they want and what sort of feeds their interest and love for after school programming. If they can see what's going on, then they have more to speak to with their colleagues and can advocate for us. So planning the event, this is the second slide on this. Now that we have access to the tools and resources as you've gone into the website, it's time to think about the goals of for your own goals for hosting the event. Who are you trying to reach with your message, and who's the best to deliver the message? So do you want to feature some local speakers, or your program director or frontline staff? Who do you want delivering your message at your event? And what do you want as for results from your event? Like, is it to build new partnerships in the community? Is it just to bring parents in? That's a huge goal and important as well. Do you want media coverage and better relationships with your local policymakers, your mayor, police chief? These are all ideas that of different policymakers or leaders in the community who've been engaged at Lights On After School events. So also thinking about your needs, what can you feasibly do with the resources and time that you have? We all know that the idea of having a big event is always attractive and sounds fun, but what do you have time for and what can you do well? So knowing that will you need sponsors or donors, or can you do with what you have in-house? And are there partners in your community that you can team with, as we were talking about before? Are there some local partners who might want to come and participate in a STEM activity or bring in something fun and exciting that's attractive to media and parents and kids? A great way to showcase students is to make sure that they're involved with the planning and execution of the event. Whether that's through demonstrations, giving speeches at the event, being a tour guide, planning out activities, or making decorations. Can't go wrong here, just involving the kids in any way. At Barbara's event last year, I noticed there were some older kids kind of helping with the painting the pumpkins, and it was just a great way to show that those kids working together and mentoring each other in the after school program. So it's really important to involve the partners however we can, enlisting board members if you have a board, or leaders like principals if you're at a school, if you're at a daycare facility, maybe having the owner of that facility involved and invested in the event. And for more ideas, again, the event planning guide has tools and case studies to help us along the way with planning. And coming up with a role for the local leaders. In Boise, we've invited the mayor to come, and he is also having a proclamation, so he'll have a ceremonial signing of the proclamation. So involving him in some way. And we hope to have some stations that he can kind of see and walk around to, just showing that he's active and invested in the event. So a little more about the event planning. Some of the questions to think about beforehand are, would you want to present an award to a particular after-school champion or highlight some work that's being done in the community? So here's where the Idaho Out of School Network can also help with that. Nominations are open for after-school champions, and those who are selected will receive a nice award to be presented at the Lights On After School event, as well as a $300 gift to award to their after-school program of choice. So those nominations are open. It's on our website. And maybe, Emily, if you could share that in the chat box, we can share the link for where you could nominate someone in your program. And we will be selecting 6 different champions across the state. So we're looking at, making sure that we represent champions in all regions of the state. So other things to consider when planning are when is like in Boise, we did have to tailor that so that we made sure that it was a day when programming was happening and it wasn't during parent-teacher conferences. And where might be the most impactful place to host your event? Is it at your after-school site? Is it going out to a special place and making it, something new and interesting that day? Does anyone have any examples of events that you felt were really successful? I know one of the first years that we did after Lights On, we hosted an event at the Jump Center, and that was kind of a big step for us to go out to a place that we hadn't necessarily held our after-school programming, but it was a very celebratory and kind of exciting place to be. This is just this slide is just a reminder of the nomination for Champions in After School through ION and what we're offering for that. So I don't know if Emily, are you on your phone? Maybe it's hard to post the link. I can post that after. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Thank you. It's a simple process, and just kind of exciting this year. So the awardees get to come to the conference as well, the Power Up Summit in Boise next year. They get a scholarship to the conference and then are also recognized at the conference a second time. So back to our planning of our event. So some of the keys to success. Making sure to broadcast the event and use it to build support in the community, and remembering that you have to register, and that the After School Alliance will send out those free resources, the posters, the email information, and the logos and press information that you can use in your social media posts as well. And promoting the event, again, on social media, Facebook, Twitter. It's very effective in getting out the message and attracting the attention of elected officials, policymakers, and the media. And knowing that you're not alone. It's always a good idea to leverage those relationships that you have, and including people in the community who are invested. They love an opportunity to celebrate what they're invested in. So this is a nice time to highlight those leaders in the community who are or have been part of your programming as well. So events can really range, as we've talked about. They can range from, celebrating in a new place that's just a token kind of place to go for one day, or they can be things that you just do right in your program space. Like online, there are these light bulbs that you can download and decorate and print for free on the After School Alliance website. So though it may seem daunting, it can be really simple, or you can make it, a really big open house with site tours and all kinds of attractive new things, or you can just celebrate what's going on every day and show the public kind of how that is impacting the kids, and have the testimonials and use the resources that you have there. So the planning tool is really helpful on the website. The planning kit on the afterschoolalliance.org website, it has tools to keep you from the earliest stages to all the way through, just walk you all the way through the event, and it has a checklist so that you can keep like on time until the event happens. And you can also use it for brainstorming new ideas or creating materials to invite media and policymakers to promote the event. So they really reiterate many times the opportunity to invite those leaders from the community to celebrate. So there's 2 places on the event kit site that are really helpful in learning what's worked in the past and how to frame your event and themes throughout the planning process. So this is a page snapshot of the page. So policymakers at every level of government are critical allies in expanding the resources and availability and supporting after-school programs. So on this page, also, as you go to the LOA REACH policy, there's examples of invitations on the website and proclamations. And like I said, we did get one from the governor this year, as well as the mayor of Boise. And if anyone would like, I could send out the example of the one that we sent to the mayor's office, and we'd love to see other cities make a proclamation on that day. So policymakers may also be great messengers to help deliver the talking points to the broader audience and to add some real muscle to our outreach efforts. Your event provides them with a great opportunity to position themselves as an ally and on these important issues, and potentially get more votes for after-school programs as they carry forward the ideas of expanding in the community. So with regard to media coverage, like I said, we're here to review any press release or media news releases that you put out. That you can just email it to me, and I had my email on that first slide. Can include it again here, but definitely it's important if you're putting the effort in to try and get that media coverage. Reporters are always seeking out stories that affect the community, and they want to tell the readers, viewers, and listeners about the impact of after-school programs. So planning the lights on after-school activities with the media in mind is important. If you're trying to involve the media, make sure that you have compelling visuals, including banners and backdrops for speakers and performers. Keeping in mind, too, that they often need reminders, so sending it out more than once is totally fine. For our summit, I think we sent it out like 3 or 4 times, and we did get 2 different hits, but you would have thought maybe 2 dozen would have come for how much effort we put into it, but 1 is good, or 2 is good too. And you can also make a media list, including local reporters, editors, columnists, bloggers, and producers who want to cover education, children, families, parenting, workplace, community. We fit into so many different feature areas. It's important to try and hit all of those different areas and specialists in media. I think that a lot of this on the web page is the most, at their link, I found that the most helpful. I mean, I can keep speaking to it, but just reading through it can be the best way to get ideas as to how it might relate to your specific program. So this is, our chance to really celebrate what we're doing. And after the celebration, it's really important to honor your staff and individuals who participate in it. If you have policymakers come, or you have media that takes to this and publicizes it, it's always great to send them a thank you letter, and maybe have it handwritten by the kids in the program, sort of using it as an example of extending that gratitude. So that's a big piece, even after it's all done. And here are the resources, the pages where you can find the information to further the efforts. And the tools are all there. We want to reiterate that we are here to, just make sure that we help in any way to contact your press or get a hold of your legislators, however you'd like assistance. We're here to help with that. So does anyone have any questions?
Did you tell them it could be on different days?
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Do you want to show them the website?
There have been some snapshots of it here. Barb and Chris, I know you guys have both planned pretty large events. You've had the mayor present several different times. Do you have any advice as to like lessons learned in those situations, or is it less intimidating than we might think?
I think a little bit of both. It's not as intimidating because, you know, we have the lights on every day.
Yes, exactly.
But I like the idea of actually advertising it more with the community members. Like, I'll advertise it with the kids and the parents, but not necessarily so much the policymakers and those community members. So I'm kind of motivated to do that this year.
Great.
Yeah, I would say that it's important to educate your kids about the event prior to the day happening. Don't just kind of surprise them and say we're having a really cool day.
Yeah.
But know what let the kids know what to expect on that day and kind of what you're expecting from them. So if you have big people who are coming to see your event or be present, that the kids aren't just running around being a little loud or a little chaotic. Sometimes they're controlled and respectful and understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I liked that suggestion that the After School Alliance made of including them as, you know, a welcome committee, or having them sort of introduce the policymakers or the community people who come, like having them introduce a certain activity that's happening.
Yeah, kind of like little ambassadors of the centers.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking of like kind of a first Thursday event, so having like a little art gallery of the kids' stuff that people could walk through, and maybe have some of those kids tour the people around.
Yeah, I love that idea. And those of you who are with daycare centers, do you see this as something that could really highlight what you're doing as well? Kim or Jillian? One of our, you know, big messages to lawmakers is that we help, you know, working parents understand, you know, feel confident going to work and being able to accomplish their tasks as working parents, and knowing that their kids are safe and active and learning in that out of school time. And I know I hear that there is a huge need for more childcare in the communities, and I think this is a way to show and highlight just how really amazing it can be to have kids engaged in those times and not left alone without food after school often. So just even showing the snacks that we feed, and, you know, the outside time that we provide, and the guided activities that can easily be sort of overlooked or taken for granted. So having this time to highlight it and be part of a national day, I think is pretty cool too. I've seen where events will stream in other centers. I saw that online. They were like showing, you know, the kids like cheering to one another to show that they're part of a nationwide day or activity. Any other examples of, were you guys part of the Jump Center when the mayor signed the proclamation a few years ago?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, we were. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of kids down there.
Mm-hmm. So
but
that
I think,
was
like
open.
you said, it was real.
So Barbara, in that example, that was open to like the whole city, kind of, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, it was, but spearheaded
We-
by the Parks and
Yeah,
Rec.
we invited the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, and groups from City of Boise, Kid City after school programs, all to meet at Jump, and they participated in about 5 different stations after an introduction from I can't recall who was there specifically.
Everybody was there.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was great.
I like the idea of celebrating. You used that word a couple times.
Yeah,
Yep, celebrating after school. I think that's great.
yeah. So do we have someone from Eagle on as well?
Yes, we are on.
Okay. Do you think it's something the Eagle mayor would be interested in?
I'm not sure. We were just really jumping on to kind of see what Lights On After School was all about. This isn't something we were familiar with before joining today, so it's kind of an exciting topic. But yeah, I would hope they would be interested.
Yeah. And also, when you go onto the national site, you can see who's registered in Idaho already. And sometimes, I know last year people just registered like to get the stuff, sent in time, and then began planning the event. So if you're looking at planning and someone else in Eagle or the area has registered, I think it'd be great to reach out to them, connect, say, could we do something together if you wanted to the first year? And even sending the proclamation requests from several agencies, I think is really, can be really cool. Or we can send it from here too. If you have an event and you want me to send one to their office, I can do that too.
Okay, that'd be great.
Let me know.
We will.
Any other questions or thoughts? I would say that the swag from the national office is pretty cool. They had these bike lights last year, so they might, I don't know what else is on there for little handouts this year, but they have some pretty cool things too that are kind of fun.
Sweet.
So all this PowerPoint stuff is on their website, is that correct?
I believe so. I can email it out too.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
And I thought I registered, but I'm not receiving the emails and stuff, so I'm going to have to go recheck my account and make sure I'm registered.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Maybe I'll go back to my email. Wherever it is. There it is. Okay. So please just reach out to me. If you want me to do that, Eagle, I can. And check out our website. We have some tools on there as well.
Do you want to give our website since it's not on Idaho Out of School?
Yes, idahooutoFschoolnetwork.org. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, friends.
All right.
Thank you, friend.
Thanks, Liz.
Great.
That's it.